What's going on, everyone? I'm Von Dame. I'm here with my brother, Mr. Get That Work, and we are the Chin Checkers.
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir. Last night, Danny Garcia, is it one of the Benavidez brothers?
One of, yeah. Jose Benavidez Jr. Jose Benavidez Jr. and Danny Garcia for that 154. I thought it was a good bout. You called it. You said it was going to go the distance. I thought Danny might stop him late, with having accuracy. He has pretty good accuracy and good counter punching. Didn't really get the job done, but I thought he looked sharp. I thought he looked all right at 154.
So, forgive us to people who watch him. We didn't get to record our predictions. Initially, when you told me about this fight, I said Danny Garcia is going to wash him. But then I started thinking about it. Danny, at least in my opinion, and he spoke on it after. I'll jump into that real quick. I'll U-turn around for that. Danny hasn't looked the same, and I thought he may not be hungry no more. Good looking guy, light eyes. He be wearing some of the flyest clothes. You see him all over the place. And what is it? Marvin Hagler is too hard to be champion when you sleep in silk pajamas, quoting him.
Right.
I felt that way about Danny. So I was like, this fight may not be as much of a complete wash as I thought it would be. Said it's going to be close. Even before that, I said Danny should move up to 154 before he even did it. Good move moving up. This was baby steps. I wasn't impressed. I don't feel the power transitioned over.
Shit.
The accuracy. Danny Garcia never really had a high motor. Extremely technical fighter, man. Good boxing. The only problem is he's not an exceptional athlete. So, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to beat any of the top tier guys. He called out Laura after. Good opponent, good choice. But in terms of what I'm seeing from him, he kind of lost his sizzle, man. I don't know if he could recapture it. I didn't see it. You said he was sharp. I don't think so.
All right. Well, I mean, shit, agree to disagree because the fuck was you watching? Nah, he was good in there. He looked good. He wasn't, he didn't get the stoppage. So, sometimes, people want to see, somebody get stopped or knocked down. So it's kind of hard to tell if his power is really good enough for 154. But, he kept Benavidez humble. A guy who moved up from 135 or 140 up to 154, he kept them humble, So I give him credit for that. I think he can make some noise up there. There's a couple of good fights up there. I mean, I don't think he should jump in there with Charlo right away. But, like he said, Laura, there's Harrison up there. There's J-Rock. There's a couple of good fights to be made, His style does match up well with some of these guys. How much noise he can make really depends on him and how much, how well he performs. But I wasn't blown away by this performance, but I thought it was a decent performance.
I don't love Jose Benavidez. Jose Benavidez hasn't been good in quite some time.
Wait, he was good before?
At one point, he was good.
Okay.
Danny hasn't really beat a meaningful guy in quite some time. He wasn't in there with an A-class fighter. So before we were watching the fight together, I was tight that I couldn't put money up. I was struggling because I knew what was going to happen. If I'm too convinced someone's going to completely wash someone, they really just go out there and they win. I'm not really that impressed. After the fight, he kind of talked about mental health. Do you think it's the mental health that kind of slowed up that fire that Danny was having?
No, I'm answering that right. No, absolutely not. Like you said, he's never been exceptional. He's a good fighter, good technical fighter, good counters, but he's really not exceptional. He does, I guess, everything decent enough. And, he has a good left hook and he has a good counters. And he has good timing, but really nothing special. So with that being said, no disrespect to him. Yes, you know, he probably went through some stuff that a lot of us don't know, but I don't think that played a factor in any of his losses before. I just don't think he was better than those guys.
I agree too. I think he fought Errol Spence very close, very well, but Errol Spence is an exceptional athlete. So while a lot of the things were awash with each other, power, speed, technique and stuff like that, Errol Spence was able to just slightly outbox him, slightly out-athlete him. Same thing with Keith Thurman, but I think Keith Thurman was probably a bit more better of an athlete, which led to good performance on Keith.
And the other part of your question, real quick, jump in. The end game would just be to make enough noise to get a chance at undisputed, and then take win, lose, or draw, retire, get the money and retire.
They talked about Harris. Harris would be a nightmare for him.
I think it'd be a nightmare for the fans.
Yeah, that. yeah, that fight would probably put us to sleep. Same thing with Laura. Is Laura a different fighter than Harrison?
Yes.
In what sense?
Laura knows that he's on his last leg, so you know I think he's gonna definitely go for it more. With Danny, he's probably looking at Danny like he's food, and you know I think he would try to stop Danny. I think he would really try to stop Danny, not like how Benavidez did, which would get hit with combinations and look at what was that through Holmes? Like what did that like? I don't understand what that was the whole fight. Laura would actually try to stop him, and I think it would be a more interesting fight than Harrison. I think so. I think it'll be a more interesting fight.
I think both guys give Danny nightmares, man. Both very similar styles, technical fighters, defensive fighters, movement. That would be the wrong move if I'm there. I think what he's trying to do is win a title, take the easiest route to getting a title, and maybe, like you said, go for Charlo. I did say that's a move that he should make maybe over a year ago. I just don't think those are two opponents he should fight. J-Rock, maybe a couple other guys, but
you know, I agree with you, but I don't agree with the fact that he moved up. The reason why is because he already was a small 147 pounder. Now he's in there with these 154 pounder guys who, you know, they look pretty big. Honestly, if you compare him to a lot of people, he looks small compared to Hurd. You know, maybe Rosario, he might look all right, but Rosario's kind of tall. Jermell Charlo's tall. You know, a lot of these guys he's going to look small against.
You're right in terms of size, but he couldn't beat any of the top tier guys at 147. He's not going to fight Boots. Boots is from Philly, and I don't think anyone wants to fight Boots. It's not many people left. Keith, you know, he mentioned Keith again. I think Keith is trying to get one last hurrah at any of the guys at 147, the top tier guys. I don't know if that's going to happen, being that everyone's waiting around for Spence and Crawford. I know Keith don't want no part of Thurman. There's really no one there for Danny to fight. He fought everyone and he lost against the A+ of that division. So what is there for you to do? Fight the A- or the newcomers of the division? He made the right move. I'm just not, I would stay away from those opponents. To me, stylistically, those are nightmare fights for him. They were nightmare fights for Charlo, Harrison in that sense. Laura gave fucking Canelo all he can handle. Some felt he won. I mean, he don't have a great high output, but just the movement, the boxing skills, stay away from those guys. If you want to be real dangerous, go.
No. Just no.
Not moving. I fucked up. You know who I wanted to.
I already know who you're gonna say. Immediately, no.
Go for Findora.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He has no shot, but you would get a ton of credit, and stylistically, he's gonna stay there for you. He's gonna be in your face.
No. That is the worst of the worst move. That is the worst of the worst.
No, man. Look, all right, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to make a little more money before he get out. You know what I mean? I get it. I just would go. I would go for the jugular, man. Go, because you're not. I don't think he'll get a title shot. I don't think he'll get an immediate title shot. But get someone who stylistically fits with you a little more.
Well, the only person that I thought, and we don't want to say too long, but the only person that I thought would stylistically match up well because of the size and style is Tim Tszyu, but Tim Tszyu is about to fight Charlo. I think Tim Tszyu and Danny Garcia would be a good fight.
Real quick, a prediction on that, because I like to document everything we say. I like for us to have our receipts. And someone questioned why I tag everyone in what I say, because I mean what I say and I say what I mean. I'm not going to back down from what I say. I'm also in gyms and I've never happened to run into these guys, but I want them to know, or whoever know, I said what I said. I don't want to hide behind my words. Tim Tszyu is going to get flatlined against Charlo. Flatline.
Why you think I said he matches up well with Danny?
Yeah, but this is gonna be this guy's made for Charlo, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for that one. I'm a Charlo fan, even though we got some memes, taunting him a little bit. Don't kill me. But it is what it is. It was another big fight. History last night, man.
Yeah.
Your girl, man, making her return to the ring.
Damn right.
Amanda Nunes.
Damn right, doing her thing. A little confusing, but she did her thing.
What about that? Let's get into it.
Well, I mean, she fought a harder fight than she needed to fight. I mean, the stand-up game, it was no comparison. She was sitting her down on her ass every single time. Every time Pena would come in, Amanda, dude, sit down, stop it. I said stop. Tearing her ass up. But for some reason, she started initiating a takedown, putting herself in unnecessary situations, and I didn't get it. But maybe it was like a macho thing, like I want to show you I could beat you on the ground and my feet. Like, I don't know what that was about, but it was a pretty dominating victory for Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, great way to return. Every time I believe she was in the southpaw stance, she would catch him with the right checker or right looping hand. I don't even know what you would call it, because it was
like a counter hook.
It was coming from all angles.
Yeah.
One time it looked like she, hit on top of the head. It was weird, like something you would do to a kid, but awesome performance on her end, man. That was a great way to return, but there were moments, man, I was nervous because I thought she got Kimura'd or armbarred or something, and I was like, damn, man, you really didn't need to put yourself in there, but she handled it. She did that thing. Question, man, is she undoubtedly the GOAT? Whoa.
I don't know who's left. And, I heard some of the commentators talking about it. Really, besides Pena, maybe that fight might happen again. It might be a third fight, but outside of her, who gives her a challenge?
Yeah, I want to give Pena a huge shout out. We were watching, and even though she would get rocked, and I mean, one point, she got like Tekken in the air and feet levitated from a counterpunch. And she took that shit. And at no point did she ever look discouraged. She is tough as nails. Oh my God. At some point you would see in someone's eyes that they want to quit. Sometimes a knockout isn't really them getting hit and falling. It's mentally they're beaten down, and when they get hit with a good enough shot, they quit. It's a little bit of an act job, but it happens. Mentally, they feel it. They was at no point ever in that fight she ever looked in her eyes like she wanted to quit. Huge shout out to her. I think a trilogy is necessary, even though that fight was she washed her and made it a little tougher than it needed to be, like you said. But I think definitely a third fight, man. Some news. We were hanging out. We found out. Jake Paul, man. Mr. Got Your Hat, your boy.
Yeah.
The fight is off. according to MMA Junkie, new Yahoo Sports, Nolan King, Hakeem Rockman blames Jake Paul's team for canceling the fight. Only thing that I can conclude is they're scared. Now, he went on to say that he asked for a little more room in terms of weight. I didn't know he was such a big boy. So apparently, when they sparred, he was at 230. He can't get down to the recommended weight, and he brought it up to them, and they said no and canceled the fight. Want to know your thoughts, bro?
Well, you know, when you break it down exactly, and this is from Hakeem Rockman Jr. own mouth. The contract was presented to him. He was surprised. He still took it. You know, they wanted him to come down to 200. He went back to them and said, I can't make 200. They said, all right, 205. He agreed. Since the fight was signed and the contract was signed, he only lost 1 pound. So he couldn't make the 205. Now he's asking for 215. Honestly, if you can't make the weight, you can't make the weight. I could see I could see where he's coming from his perspective. You ask this guy to come down to 200 because you really fight around like 185 or 200 yourself, and he can't make it. So you say, all right, 205. He can't make that. Okay, then the fight's off. I get where he's coming from. I get why you're gonna go. You might as well just be a heavyweight. Jake is not a heavyweight, so you might as well go to heavyweight and fight him because that's what he's going to be fighting at. I get his perspective, honestly.
Me too. I also think it might be something else. Now, if it does happen, I look like a genius. It's possible there's noise with him and Conor for another big name fight, and it'll generate more money. And rather than even take the chance of having this fight happen, because according to Rockman Jr., when they sparred and everything, they told him to take it easy on him. And he did. He's way more experienced than Jake Paul. He's way bigger than Jake Paul. So I personally think maybe they got another big deal coming up. And that's the reason they were looking for an out, and he gave him a reason for it now. That's what I think. If it turns out that this never happens, I just won't ever bring this up again.
Well, you know, I'm not sure if it's Conor because apparently there's rumblings that Conor and Mayweather 2 should be happening. So I would be surprised if Jake secures a Conor fight over Mayweather. That I don't see that happening. But could another fight be in the rumblings? Possible. But again, if you're a heavyweight and somebody asks you to come down to 200 and you say okay, and you go back to them and say I can't make it, and you ask for 5 extra pounds of leeway, and then you don't make that, you know, he couldn't make the weight.
You fucking up the whole cookie jar. You got anything else, work?
Nah, man, that's it, my brother.
Oh, wait. Now I want to give out shout outs, man. Shout outs. So I started taking my son to the PAL, and they asked me to help out. So I'm, working with my son, training him, training some other guys. One of the coaches in there, Coach AB, man. Shout out to Coach AB, one of his fighters, Armani. I'm gonna put up Armani's Instagram. Shout out to him. I believe he's 5-1. He just won another one. So shout out to him. He might be 6-1. There's also another kid from Long Island, man. I want to wish him, a healthy recovery. Voodoo Pete. I don't really know his real name. I just know him by Voodoo Pete. And whenever the guy hits, it sounds like a shootout. That's how hard this guy punches. He got injured. He had surgery. He's recovering. So we want to wish him well, But that's pretty much it, man. So anything else?
That's it, my brother.
All right, Playboy. Yeah, man. Make sure to subscribe. Something's happening with our channel. We being shadow banned again. Make sure to share us, man. Share us. Hit the share button. Let your friends know.
Yeah.
Later, Playboy.
Later, brother.